Also going to make some crispy chocolate peanut butter bars inspired by the toasted pine nut with just these simple ingredients. She talks about puffed quinoa and they didn't have that at Natural Grocers, so we've got some puffed sprouted brown rice. Instead of peanut butter, I'm going to do some raw almond butter. Instead of maple syrup, I'm going to do this maple flavored syrup. And then we have some coconut oil, Lily's chocolate chips, and some sea salt. I've got an 8x8 pan, and I'm just going to put some parchment paper on top. And as we make everything, it'll go right in there. I'm going to empty this entire container of raw almond butter into a mixing bowl. And I'll probably need to get a spoon and get it all out, but you guys get the gist. This is the fun of doing things with one hand. There we go, we got it all emptied out. And side note too, when you're buying nut butters, you want it just to be raw almonds, or say it's cashews or organic peanuts or whatever it is. You want simple ingredients, no added sugar with that. Now, maple syrup time. I love this brand. I get it off of Amazon. It's a lower glycemic, tastes amazing. And she mentions about 1/4 of a cup. Guys, I don't measure. I just eyeball and then taste it and see if it's sweet enough for me. This is what it looks like as we mix the syrup with the almond butter. Now, she mentions adding in 1.5 cups of the puffed quinoa. Now, quinoa is a seed, not a grain. Again, I couldn't find that at Natural Grocers. This is what they had. And I tend to do okay with grains in small amounts as long as they're gluten-free. I like that these have been sprouted. So this is what I'm going to use here to make this. I'm going to eyeball it and just see what looks good. All right, we're going to pour some of this in and start mixing it up. And you will see how it gets kind of a Rice Krispie look to it. Here's what it looks like all mixed up. Now, again, if you are sensitive to grains, or you don't do well with quinoa or anything like that, you can leave the crisps out. This is totally optional. I was really craving Rice Krispie treats, so I'm leaving them in, and then we're gonna add them to the pan. And we just start to spread this out in a pan that's lined with our parchment paper. This is a really quick option, so if you need a vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free dessert option, this is great. Doesn't take very long. Just spread it all out in the pan. Next, we are going to melt about 1/2 cup of our chocolate chips. I love Lily's, again, sweetened with stevia, not to spike blood sugar, and about a tablespoon of our coconut oil. And melt that all up. You could do that in a double broiler, whatever works. All right, here's our melted chocolate and coconut oil, and we just top it off. Add that in and spread it out so that it's evenly covering the top. Oh, looks so good. Here we go. Doesn't that look lovely? We're just going to take a spoon or spatula and spread it all around. Oh my goodness. Super quick and easy. Looks all right. Now that we got our chocolate all spread out, we're going to take a little bit of sea salt. I love the Celtic sea salt, but you could do Himalayan, whatever works. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit on top. So it's a sea salt part. If you don't like it, you don't have to. So this looks really pretty, but also a little bit of the sea salt's high in trace minerals, which is awesome. But it also brings out the sweetness of this dish. Now, what we do is put it in the freezer for an hour, and then you can pull it out and cut it into squares. Catch you in an hour. Okay, how yummy do these look? Just pull them out of the freezer, and we're gonna lift them up, put them over here on the cutting board, and just slide the parchment paper right off and cut them into squares. They're gonna be awesome. All right, I've sliced them up. I can never quite get them to fit in perfectly here, but it's not about presentation, right? It's about taste. So I'm just putting in here to travel. You can put them on a plate, make them look really pretty. But look at that. Oh my gosh. These are vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, low glycemic, amazing. Go follow the Toasted Pine Nut. She is awesome. I will also post her recipe too if you want to give it a try. They're awesome. So these are so good. Dad wants to keep some.
2 piece.
2?
Thank you.
This is a rare occurrence
Very rare.
because he normally doesn't like gluten, dairy, and sugar-free things.